Hi there, good to see you. Thanks for clicking play. Welcome to the advanced series of rhythm review sessions. These batch of videos are intended for students who are already pretty comfortable with recognizing and knowing what the different sorts of notes and rests are. We're going to be talking about counting beats and different kinds of notes, and how to deal with time signatures so that you know how to read and write your own rhythms. Now, if you have forgotten some of the basic stuff that you've already learned, don't worry. I'll be giving you hints throughout as well. So these videos are intended for an audience of students from mid-grade 3 through grade 6 or 7 review, depending on what you're doing in your own class. Let's get started. Today we're going to be starting with learning how to count notes or beats. Beats are the rhythms, the tas, the tickas, how long or short a note is. Is it a long note, la, or is it short, la, la, or is it even fast, la, 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 la. However it is, you'll be able to count it and use math in different ways. This is not talking about how high or how low something sounds. Like high, low, we're not dealing with that at all. We're just dealing with the counting. All right, let's get started. Our first example is the easiest thing. I love it so much. Here's what we're going to be counting. So here you have a quarter note, and here you have a quarter rest. Notice that quarter is in both their names, meaning that we count them the same way. Most music is counting these. So if you can get this, you're set. Every time you see a quarter note, it's worth 1 or 1 beat. If this was a game, you'd give it 1 point. Because this is also a quarter, this is also worth 1. We count it the exact same way. When we're saying or performing them, they take just as long to perform. The difference is that this one makes sound because it's a note, and this one is a pause or a silent note called a rest. But they each take 1 beat or 1 count. These are the only 2 symbols we're dealing with today. You got it? We're good? Excellent. Let's keep going. So let's see, how would we count this? Well, let's find out. They're worth 1 beat each, so the easiest thing to do is just start counting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many beats do I have on this example? You're right, I got 4 beats. To draw your counting, because sometimes a teacher requires you to show your work, just like in mathematics, here's how you would do the counting. Over the top of each note, you would put the number that you have counted to. So in the first note, I counted to number 1. Over the next note, I counted to number 2. 1, 2. What did I count next? I counted to 3. And there's another one. Yeah, I counted to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. All right, let's try the rests. We do it the exact same way. Here are 4 quarter rests in a row. And how would we count them? Would they go 4, 4, 4, 4? No, that makes no sense. You always start counting with number 1, and then you see how high you can count. So let's count our silent notes, our rests, starting with number 1. Here is beat number 1. This is beat number 2. Here's beat number 3. And that makes this beat number 4. So if you kept drawing them, you would just keep counting for as many as there are, for as many symbols as there are. If you drew another quarter note, for example, I already have beats 1, 2, 3, 4, so this would be, I just add another one, and that gets us to 5. So I could have 5 beats in a row. Sure, why not? You can have as many as you want. What if over here, I decided to add 2 just because I like drawing them? So let's see, how many do we have? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 5. Very nice. And one more makes 6. Absolutely. There we go. So quarter notes and quarter rests are nice and easy. It's just a matter of counting each one and giving me your total at the top as you count. Okay, you've got that. Now that you have that, you can do anything else. Let's try mixing the rests and the notes together. Remember, it doesn't matter if it's a rest or a note. Each of these symbols gets a beat, so you just keep counting even if they're mixed together. Let's try this one. Can you figure out what the counting would be on top? Remember, you're going to start with 1. We always start with number 1. Would we start with number 1 again? No, because that's not how we count. We want to get the beats, not just the notes. So we're going to get the beats that make sound and the beats that don't make any sound. They're worth 1 number each. We count exactly the same way. You've got it. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have 4 beats of rhythm or of music written on this card. Here's beat number 1. Here's beat number 2. Beat number 3. And beat number 4. There you go. So if I was going to read it out loud with tas and shushes, it would be like this. Ready? And ta, sh, ta, sh. Each symbol gets the same amount of time because they're each worth a beat, but some make sound and some are just silent. Good, let's do another mixed up one. All right, how many beats? How would we start counting? We start with, yes, number 1. Good, start with number 1. What number do I put over top of this note? Yep, number 2. What's after number 2? Number 3, you got it. And what's after number 3? I have another beat. Yeah, 4. So the rest is each worth a beat and the note is each worth a beat. So each symbol, I get to count it all by itself. So I have 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats, and 4 beats in a row. Good job. Now, we get to talk about time signatures. Don't worry, you don't have to do all of these. This is just a little example. A lot of the time at the beginning of a piece of music, you'll see a symbol that looks like this, with 2 numbers over top of each other. These are the 3 most common ones that you'll see, but you can make up your own. We'll deal with that in a different video. So 3/4, 4/4, or 6/8. The numbers that we're going to be working with in this video are only the top numbers. We're always going to be counting quarter notes and quarter rests. We're not dealing with any other sort of symbol today. Quarter note and quarter rest. And because they're called quarters, the numbers that we're going to be dealing with are going to always stay on the bottom 4 because that indicates a quarter. So we can look for this, but we're not going to learn this today. Don't worry, that's more advanced. We'll get there. So the bottom number is always going to stay the same. What I'm going to ask you to try and figure out is what the top number will be. The top number tells me how many beats are in each section or each measure of the music. So how high we're going to count. Most of the time it'll be either 3 or 4, but sometimes it'll be 2 or 5 or 6, not very often. But let's see if you can figure out what the top number will be. Here's our first task. You can see the bottom number is already filled in. We're going to be counting quarters, quarter notes and quarter rests. So we start the exact same way as we did at the beginning of this video. We start by counting with number 1. So let's see. Number 1, Number 2, good. 3 and 4, very nice. Each quarter symbol gets its own number, whether it's a note or a rest. They all get counted. 1, 2, 3, 4. The total is, the highest I counted is 4. So you take that highest number and you write it over top of there. And look at that. You have just made your very own 4-4 time signature. Ta-da! Great. Let's do another one. Again, we're going to be counting quarter notes and quarter rests. Each one gets counted. Here we go. Here's the bottom of the time signature. We are counting quarters. How many quarters are on this card? 1, 2, 3. So what's the highest number I counted to? 3. So you take that highest number and write it in over here. And now I know officially we're counting 3 quarter notes on this paper. Very good. Okay, we have, I think, just 2 of those left. Here we go. This one's going to be so easy. How many quarters are on this card? Absolutely. 1 and 2. There are 2 quarters on this card. So I take the number I counted to and I write it down here. 2 for time. Is that one of the time signatures I told you about? No, because you almost never see this. I want to make sure that you're actually counting and you're fine. You have the confidence to do it. Okay, last one. Here we go. How many quarters are on this card? Start counting with 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. There are 4 quarter symbols on this card. And I just dropped my marker, so I'm going to try this with pencil and see if that works. Here we go. I've got 1. Can't quite see that. I'll hold it really close. 2, 3, and 4. There we go. The last number I counted to, the highest number is 4, and that's the number that I draw over here. That tells me my limit on this card is 4 quarters. All right, fantabulous. You are going so well at this that I kind of want to throw you a challenge. I'll give you the challenge in the next video. You're awesome. Keep going. Try writing or drawing some of these rhythms on your own and write your own quarter note or quarter rest. Count them up and then give yourself a time signature if you want to. As long as you're counting them, that's totally fine. What is the smallest number of quarters you can draw in a row? What is the longest number of quarters you can draw in a row? What's the highest number you can get over here? I am very curious. Good luck, have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.